the level of ridiculous that we are as dog parents, other than referring to ourselves as dog parents, is of course the fact that we have a wall of art of our dogs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got a wall of art, a wall of certifications.
We do.
We have prizes on the award-winning Snapper wall. We have a tribute, a tribute wall.
We've become those people.
Yes, we have. Living it right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Welcome to Project Nutmeg. I'm Mr. Snapper.
And I'm Red Snapper. And today we're diving into one of our favorite topics, dog art.
Dog art. We've got quite the collection, from things we've made ourselves, to gifts from loved ones, to full-on commissioned pieces.
We'll walk you through our favorites and share some tips on how you can get artwork of your pup. Whether you're working with a tight budget or going all out on a custom portrait.
Because every dog deserves to be immortalized in art. Yes, every dog. Even if they once pooped on the floor.
Once. Pooped on the floor.
All right, we're going to talk about art that was made by us.
Yes.
Where do you want to start?
We can start with the Giant Dog Quilt, which is behind us.
Massive dog quilt.
This dog quilt, we started, I'll say I started.
You started.
With our first dog, Holly.
Yes, and that's why you see there's quite a bit of like Dalmatian themed and Dalmatian patches on here. It's very much, 101.
101. Yeah, it's very much it started as a Dalmatian quilt. So I had all of this fabric that was Dalmatian-y. Oh yeah, and these appliques were done ages ago before I even knew the ins and outs of how to do
appliques.
Yeah. So lots of Dalmatians on here. Then we have the Doodlebug. This was something that we talked about in our fundraiser episode, how we made the doodle pillow. So we've got Doodle.
This is basically what the doodle pillows look like.
Yes, that's one of the spare ones. And when
she was a very pink dog.
She was. And when she was on steroids, we made Hulk variants.
Yeah, because the joke was we were giving her steroids and
she could Hulk out.
Hulk out, yeah.
So we have some of those leftover applique panels that we had for the pillows because she did pass and we were still making the pillows. So we put some of those in the quilt. Now for Bus, we had to do a fundraiser for Bus, and we've had this quilt. I think we finished making this in 2017, 2018, and we've had dogs dig at this quilt, making nests in the bed. So I've got some,
there's a little bit of
some loose threads.
And you'll see when we get to the Coca part, there's a part that's like pretty much shredded, but we'll get to it.
But okay, so this was the original variant of Bus. Mm-hmm. We had different colored backgrounds because we had to raise money for his partial mandibulectomy.
And when that happened and his tongue started hanging out of his mouth precipitously.
It looked huge. His tongue looked huge. So we did a Gene Simmons variant.
With the longer tongue.
Mm-hmm.
We had Buster and we had Doodle on the quilt. So it only made sense to add Holly and Piper. Now,
Holly was a naughty girl.
She could be.
She could be very, very naughty. She was our first dog, and she would get into trouble. So she's on a hellscape. We loved her dearly. Loved her. She was fantastic. She would eat video cassettes when we were in school.
She would chew her way through doors.
Yeah, as a puppy. She chewed her way through a door.
2 doors. Over the entire time she was with us, she destroyed 2 doors.
That's right, she did. But we loved her,
She was a great dog.
Here she is.
And then Piper was all sunshine and rainbow. She was always just happy to be there.
Yeah, and she had a teddy bear too.
Oh yeah, she did.
Yeah, she had a teddy bear that she would play with. So we put Piper, very happy Pipey, on teddy bear fabric. Yeah. Now, Coca was still very young when we made this quilt. Yep. So we have the John Lennon Carter receiving blanket, the John Lennon Carter receiving blanket. And we used this with our dogs when they were puppies so that they'd have something, cuddly. And Coca was always on her back, stretched out. So we put Coca in the middle because she was the
baby
when we were working on this quilt. This used to be a piece of flannel appliqued as her purple collar, but wear and tear, dogs digging at it, that kind of wore it away.
It happens.
Yeah. And then we've got a bunch of other sections that are, just patches, random designs of dog-like fabric on here. Just pleasant stuff, fun stuff to help balance it out for the squares we didn't already have made. And we wanted to have a nice representation of all of our doggingness.
There we go. So that's the quilt.
Yes. Oh, and it's so comfortable. It is basically a gravity blanket.
Oh, yeah.
It's huge. It's bigger than the bed so that we have room to cuddle up with dogs in it.
Or if someone steals all the covers, there's still a little bit of covers that someone else might be able to. Sometimes
dogs sleep on top of covers.
Sure, it's the dogs.
Sometimes they do. The first piece of artwork that we have that we made of one of our dogs was my watercolor of Holly, which I don't know if it placed or showed, but I entered it into a fair, like county fair, and I got...
Oh yeah, that's right.
I got like $5
It was also, I think it was published in our college literary journal.
It might have been.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, so there's Holly, watercolor of Holly that I did.
Very lovely. You're very good at watercolor.
Thank you. It's been a while since I've done some. I also did a watercolor of Holly and Piper that stays on the wall. This was from a photograph. And then I freehanded this little watercolor of Piper.
And you did that after she passed?
Yeah, I did. She was a good girl, a very happy dog, just happy to be there. It was wonderful. She wasn't the brightest dog, but
No.
She sure did know about food.
Yeah, she had a huge appetite.
She did. She didn't miss a meal.
For my part, I will sketch the dogs usually when they're sleeping, because that's when they're, being still. And so this is the first one, which is Holly sleeping on her side, which is why her ear is out at an angle. She's on the floor sleeping. So that's our girl Holly. And then I've got in order, Coca. This little sketch I did of Coca, who was awake and still, so I could sketch her. And Snoozy Bus. So these are little sketches that I did of the dogs. And so that's example of art that we made ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And any art that you make yourself, it'll have meaning tied to it. When we sleep under this quilt, we're sleeping under all of our old friends.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and these are a wonderful way for us to remember the joy and hell that our pets have put us through.
Delightful.
Yeah.
The next thing we want to talk about is art that's made by your friends and family. Mm-hmm. And if you have artistic friends, sometimes they just do it on their own and like, oh, here's a picture of your cat or whatever.
It's like, oh, how cool.
That's awesome. And
yes.
Sometimes maybe you ask them to, and because they're super talented and super cool, they do it for you. I don't know. But in this case, what we want to show you is artwork that a family member and a friend made and surprised us with. It was a total surprise, and it was really cool. So my grandmother, after my grandfather died, she remarried this really great guy named Bob. And Bob was Papa Bob. He was fantastic, just the sweetest guy.
Oh, he was so gentle and caring.
He was wonderful. And he, late in life, took up painting. And one day we were visiting with my grandmother and Bob and Papa Bob. We had Holly with us, and he wanted to get a picture of Holly. And we're like, okay, well, I mean, she is very photogenic.
Truly.
Didn't think anything of it. So he took a picture of, and I remember the moment. I remember the photo. I remember her in this pose, because this is what he gave us at Christmas, was this painting of Holly. And I remember this photo being taken. I remember her in this pose. And it was just the sweetest thing. It was just the sweetest thing. And it's such a great painting.
It is great. I love it. And it sits on our wall of honor with dog art. It's really wonderful.
It is.
It was a really nice surprise.
It was.
And we had a coworker that loved how Bus looked. Just loved it. Because once that tongue started flopping out and he was missing part of his jaw, he was even more charming. People went crazy about him and paid attention to him. When we'd go on walks, they'd look at him and not Coca. They're like, oh, because he was interesting.
Yeah.
And he had character. So she painted Bus from a photograph that we shared where he was just looking like a dingus.
Yeah.
And she loved it and she painted it and gifted this to us. And it's great.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Now, she painted this at one of those
paint night
type places. I don't remember exactly which one she did this at. There are a few different brands, a few different companies that do this, and they're great fun. She came to town because she worked remotely. She came to town for Christmas, and a whole group of us went out as a group and painted nutcrackers for Christmas, and it was so much fun. And she's great. Yes,
she's great. And I just love this. It's so much fun. It
is very much Bus.
It's very much Bus.
Now we're going to talk about commissioned art. So this is where you find an artist you love online, or perhaps you go on Fiverr, one of those services, and you find an artist to create a portrait of your dog. And one variation of this, which we have not done, strangely, is when they paint your dog like it's in a classic Renaissance painting. Those are amazing. We haven't done that yet.
We haven't done that.
One of the things we've done, and this counts, is creating logos for Nutmeg. So at the very end of every one of these episodes, you see the like and subscribe little animation. And I created that animation off of a piece of art that you commissioned off of Fiverr of Nutmeg. And it's funny because that was when she was very young, so she was much browner than she is now. So she's very brown at the very end of these episodes. We've done other things, other commissioned pieces. There's one where she's doing the anime thing, and there's this, which is sort of in the same family, hustle, the idea of sort of like commissioning art of the dog. And yeah, I guess our Threadless store is full of images like that we have commissioned of Nutmeg.
Of Nutmeg artwork. We do have a very early episode about the Nutmeg logos and what we looked for and what we decided to use and how.
And you can watch that episode here.
Another piece of commissioned art is the Coca Lotería piece. Coca was a rescue from Tijuana. So we wanted to honor her Mexican heritage after she passed with some artwork that was very Coca. So we commissioned an artist who lived in that area that we found on Fiverr, and we got this lovely canvas of our girl Coca.
Yeah, we actually got this printed and from Amazon. There are other places where you can have artwork printed and put on a canvas. So an approach there is you get the commissioned artwork from Fiverr, and you get the digital, high resolution digital file, and then you can send it to a company and have them printed on a canvas. So.
And it's all part of the agreement that you make with the artist on Fiverr, how you can use the piece. So when we did the logo, we made sure that we could use the logo in the way that we wanted.
That is very important. Make sure that you're upfront about how you want to use the commission piece.
Yes. I've done that with music commissions. This is how I will be using it. And they knew what this was for, why we were doing it, and how we would use it. So we have our Coca.
There we go. Now, one year for Red's birthday, I wanted to give her a very special present. And gift giving is very important to us. We have a whole philosophy on gift giving, which is about trying to find something that is meaningful to the person you're giving it to. And we wrote about that in our email newsletter. We have all kinds of fun little tidbits that pop up in our email newsletter. So look in the description below for a way to sign up for that. So what I wanted to do was get a portrait of the Doodlebug. And at that time, we were a degree of separation away from an incredible artist named Kristin Tercek. And she was a friend of a friend, basically. And she was taking commissions at the time. And this was right before, if you know the name, which you probably should, Kristin Tercek kind of blew up shortly after we got this commission and was doing all kinds of work for Disney. Some incredible work. So we were very lucky to kind of get on the ground floor of this incredible artist. I went back and forth on email with Kristin about this piece, and it's done in Kristin's style. The Doodlebug had one brown eye and one blue eye. And Kristin Tercek's style has this sort of quirkiness where one eye is bigger than the other. It's sort of like a standard thing that runs through her work. And I thought, oh, this is perfect for Doodlebug. And Kristin agreed. We agreed on the price and the format, which is on a little wood, painted directly on this little wood thing. I'll show you in a second. She did a little sort of rendering of what it would look like. We agreed on it. And then she did the finished piece and sent it to us. And this is it. This is the piece of art from Kristin Tercek, which is just awesome. And it is so doodle.
It is. Something that was really nice was that she said, I thought this was so cute, I decided to make it a larger size just for free because I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. She stopped doing commissions for a long time, and now she's doing them again.
Which is exciting. And we're not sponsored by Kristin Tercek, but like commission artwork from Kristin Tercek. She is incredible. She's an incredible artist.
To have a piece of hers on your wall is an honor. Kristin Tercek. I love that. I love that Doodlebug.
It's awesome. Okay, and the last thing we want to talk about is art that sort of looks like your dog. Now, before I get into this, a slight aside. When you think about like collecting art, you think about gazillionaires in their multiple mansions collecting great works of art by the masters and, you know, millions of dollars for a painting. And hey, if you have the means to do that, by all means, buy that Picasso. But for the rest of us, there's no reason to deprive yourself of art. If you want to buy a print of some great work of art that inspires you, do that. One thing that we like to do is seek out artists whose work we enjoy and buy prints from them. Our walls are full of little pieces of art from friends of ours who are artists, from artists that we've discovered and we're like, that is amazing. We encourage you to do that as well, because if it makes you happy, it should be something that you see every day. And along those lines, there's this phenomenal artist who I believe is a children's book illustrator. I think that's how I found her.
That would make sense.
Named Alison Friend. And I think everyone has probably discovered Alison Friend by now because her images are hilarious. We're talking about dogs smoking cigars and eating bacon and reading the newspaper. Very anthropomorphized dogs. And she occasionally will have releases where she's like, I have a certain number of prints that I'm selling, and she opens up her shop and you can go in and you can buy things. And they're very affordable. Honestly, you can't really put a price tag on stuff that makes you happy. But yeah, you kind of can put a price tag on it. And this is artwork that is reasonable. It's not crazy.
Not hundreds of dollars to get a piece that you enjoy and inspires you and makes your space homey.
Exactly.
Whatever that means for you. For us, it's having artwork that we enjoy.
Exactly. And listen, if the big trending artist on Instagram is out of your reach in terms of money, that's okay, understandable. But go to your local farmers markets. Look on Etsy. You'll find incredible art from artists that are, really just trying to survive as well. And you never know what incredible work you're going to find. So, Fiverr.
Not everything is $5, right, on Fiverr, but you could get something fantastic there as well.
So explore, find stuff that makes you happy, and put it in your home. So Alison Friend had one of her print releases, and there was this print that she did that does not look exactly like Nutmeg, but it looks enough like Nutmeg that I decided to get it for you. Mm-hmm. And this is it.
Nutmeg was very brown as a puppy. So this is very Nutmeg-like. Also, good girl. Hello.
Yeah, she is a good girl.
She is a good girl. And I love this little puppy right next to her, the
little
toy dog,
puppy.
because that reminds me of your toy dog from childhood, your little Pepper.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of Chowder.
A little bit.
You see how he's splooting with the back legs out. So even though it's not exactly Nutmeg, it still reminds me and has the qualities of Nutmeg that I mean, I love having it on the wall anyway, but it's kind of a little bit of a tribute to
exactly
all things nutmeggy.
Yeah. You can find artwork that reminds you of your pet, and even if it's not an exact duplicate of your pet, it's still, I don't know, it's delightful.
It is. And it puts art on your wall.
Exactly.
Whether it's a doodle on a napkin or a hand-painted masterpiece, dog art is a beautiful way to celebrate the pets who bring us so much joy.
And if you're looking to start your own collection, we hope this gives you some ideas on where to begin.
Do you have artwork of your dog?
Or your cat?
Or your attractive lizard? Tell us about it in the comments, or better yet, share a picture with us.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and boop the bell for notifications.
And you will see us next time. Bye!